Hello and welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, the show where we discuss any issues or challenges you may be having. The concern we are handling in this segment comes from Nilas Norregaard, and their concern is, so I have a problem. I've had this really good friend for like 4 years, and just recently he got a girlfriend and he has kind of pushed me aside. Like we almost never do stuff together anymore, and I'm kind of feeling bad about it. And I don't really know what to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, yeah. There's things you can do to try to make that relationship spark again and spend more time with them. Just making yourself present, But there's only so much you can do, and there's only so much you want to do. It's important to remember that you should never base how you feel about your life off of another person and what they're not providing for you. Sometimes we kind of get caught in this illusion that hey, we've got all these friends, we're hanging out, and oh man, life is awesome, blah blah blah. And so then when you stop hanging out, life seems like it sucks, or maybe it's like, okay, he doesn't like me as much as he likes this other person, which is totally respectable in a situation where he's got a girlfriend. And I know you're not seeing it as like a bad thing that he has a girlfriend, but yeah, we can get caught in this idea where we think that we're not important enough, or life just isn't as good, etc. But it's important to remember where happiness comes from. Happiness comes from a lot of different places. Happiness is a lot of times is a form of satisfaction with yourself and who you are and your placement in life. And if you are perceiving the world in a way that you're relying on somebody else to make you feel happy, then 9 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 days, you're not going to be a happy person, because you can't expect somebody else to do that for you. And I'm sure you already know that, but it helps to have that reminder. It helps to take a step back and be like, yeah, I need to be in control of how I feel. And so that starts with just having an attitude about life, that you perceive it as an enjoyable thing, as something that you are thankful for, and always be thankful for what you have. There's only so much you can do, with friendship. I remember Joe one time told me, it was a brilliant statement. He said, a lot of times, when we're kids, we go up to another kid and we'll be like, will you be my friend? Will you be my friend? And that's completely the wrong way of thinking about friendship, because friendship isn't something that you get from somebody else. It's something that you give, and you have no part in what the other person gives. You are either a good friend or you're not. Mm-hmm. And your friendship is reliant on both people, but you can only account for one of those people. So you have to remember that, all you can do is be the best friend you can be. And, that's all you can do. And if there's nothing more you can do, then to worry about it is kind of in vain, right? It's something that you should tell yourself, oh, okay, I can do nothing more, so I guess there's nothing more to worry about, Mm-hmm. Just be a good, supportive friend, supporting their life, supporting their choices that are good. Love, is a strong term, but I'll use it in this scenario. Love, I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm just talking about the general friend love, or, even in romance, this is the state. Love is defined as this: to desire what is best for another person and being willing to help that person achieve that. That is love. Very, very simply put, wanting the best for another person. And as long as you're doing that, there's nothing more you can do, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So be proud of yourself in that. As for, different things you can do to help rekindle your friendship with them, I'm sure you can come up with scenarios where you can just go out of your way. Sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone, and just make it a point to do something with somebody, or spend a day together. It's not easy, especially when, everyone has different things to do. But sometimes you have to get outside your comfort zone, make a statement you don't necessarily want to make, talk to them about it, say, hey, I'm kind of feeling like, it would be cool to hang out. And I've been feeling this for a while now. Would you mind, like, getting together someday? I'm sure they would be like, yeah. What do you want to do? When do you want to get together? And then you guys can schedule and hang out together for a day, because humans, we're not meant to be alone. It's good that we have relationships, and we're supposed to keep those relationships alive. But another thing is, friendships, they part in time. Naturally, they do. I've had many friends in high school that I don't talk to anymore. Even some of them were my best friends. Actually, all of my best friends in high school, I don't talk to anymore. Not because they're bad people, but just because we just don't talk. We have no reason to. We've fallen out of touch with each other. We've tried to get back in touch, but it just didn't happen. And we're all okay with that. I think when we're younger, our lives and how we think about ourselves is heavily determined by our relationships. But as we get older, relationships are still extremely important, and our ability to hold them is important. But we realize we move on from one person to another. We get thrown in life into new situations. We get thrown into new groups of people to make new impact on other people. Take what we learned from friendships long past and apply them to new friendships coming along the way. It's a beautiful journey, this life of here are my friends now and here are my friends later, and acquiring new friends and instilling your love into them, which will change their life for the rest of their life. It's okay that we lose friends, and it's great that we get new friends too. This isn't that you've done anything wrong. It's just naturally part of life. And you, like I said before, you can take what you've learned from your previous friendship and apply it to the next. And however that person has impacted you in your life might get passed down to impact another person in their life. And that's how one person's affection and love and care for another person changes history, because we change individuals through these interactions. So don't ever feel bad about a lost friendship that just naturally ends, without any cause of hardship. Just be thankful for what you had, because that's awesome, and apply it to, use it for your future relationships with other people. Anyways, I hope that helps. And do you have anything you'd like to add to that, Joe?
I think only.
Sorry for talking so long.
No, that was great stuff, Ryan. And I would second everything you said. The only thing I would add is just that I've been on both ends of that type of a transaction, and romantic feelings are an interesting thing. You got hormones added in there. You got all kinds of
crazy emotions.
Extra. Yeah, exactly. It's weird. It changes people sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Totally. And the thing that Ryan said that was most important was the fact about loving them. They're in a relationship now. It's she this I have to look up at the question again, but I think it was his best friend has a girlfriend now. Is that it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, she's obviously a very important part of your friend's life, and and she's going to take up a lot of his time, because there are feelings that are probably very, very strong for her, that he has, and now that's going to require a lot of his focus. So if you can love them both as a couple, man, that's great.
Yeah, support them both.
Exactly. And that way, even if you don't spend as much time together, you will still maintain a friendship with that person, even if it's from a little bit of a distance. You know, sometimes the best way to love somebody is from a distance anyway. You know, I'm sure we all have some people in our lives and family members and whoever is like, I love that person, but it's best if, I love them and they're over there and I'm over here. you know if someone's your best friend, obviously that's a painful thing to think about. I'm going to be separating from this person some, you know and anytime we feel like we lose a friend, it's painful. There's some pain involved with that, and I don't want to sugarcoat that fact at all, because it's just a reality that we all deal with. When a relationship ends, there's some pain involved, to some degree. And the more important somebody was to you and how abrupt the change was, I mean, all that can play into the level of pain that you experience. But like Ryan said, if you can love them together, and if you can love her as well as him, even if you don't see them as much, as long as you don't, as long as she doesn't see you as the old best friend who's trying to drive a wedge between them, then you'll probably at least retain some good feelings from her, and then you won't lose your friend completely. But that's yeah, I've been in the situation where it was a very painful thing. Friendships were completely broken, and there was anger, there's all kinds of stuff, it was crazy. But that's the most painful kind, when you can, when there's a really hard break, nobody's talking to each other anymore, we're totally not friends anymore at all, we don't have good feelings toward each other. That is really hard and really painful. So if you can maintain that, if you can fill your heart with love for both of them, even if you're not going to be with them as much, that will go a really long way to at least retaining the friendship.
So they've added that they're thankful for what we've said, and the hard part is that their GF, their girlfriend, kind of dislikes him.
Sure.
Don't really know why, but it's hard to like them as a couple because of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that makes sense, because, I mean, really, a lot of times, I mean, she probably may feel a bit threatened by you, even if you haven't even done anything, just from the fact that you are his best friend. She, there's kind of this territory thing going on, and it just kind of automatically is that way. So she probably kind of automatically has this dislike for you. But even in the midst of that, it is hard to like them as a couple in that sense. I totally agree with that. At the same time, if we only love people who love us back, then I mean, everybody can do that. Anybody can do that. If you can learn how to love someone who doesn't love you back and still love them as a person, even if you don't have much contact with them, you still maintain some love in your heart for that person. You have shown that you are an incredibly strong person and an incredibly valuable, part of your best friend's life. Because even though she might dislike you, she probably doesn't even know you well enough to dislike you. Maybe she does. I don't know. Maybe you're all in the same school and everybody knows everybody, and who knows. But, I think if you can still have love in your heart and show that, even in the midst of her disliking you, eventually that'll break down some barriers. And who knows? I mean, relationships sometimes last a long time, sometimes they don't last a long time. and your friend's girlfriend, they may end up ending their relationship. And if you are there and you maintain that friendship through love, then when the relationship ends, you'll be there for your best friend. You guys will be it'll be like picking up where you left off. It'll be no big deal, you know.
Mhm.
But if you do things to damage the relationship in the meantime, through, you know, hatred, bitterness, all that kind of stuff, if you harbor those feelings in your heart and let that show, then if the relationship ends with your best friend and his girlfriend, you may not get your best friend back at the end of that, you know.
Mhm.
There's so I think, as Ryan said, man, love, even when it's hard, that's the most important time to love, is when it's hard.
Mhm. That's true. Mhm.